Hello and welcome back to my channel. The last video I made, I tied a scrappy quilt with embroidery floss. The embroidery floss was thin enough that I didn't have any trouble threading it onto the needle. But if you used a yarn, you might have trouble threading it through the eye of the needle. And I'm using a needle that's not necessarily made for yarn, but it's sharp enough to go through fabric. So I cut off a small length of yarn and rip off a small scrap of paper and fold it in half. The width needs to be smaller than the length to the eye of the needle. And so I tested this one and it's too large. So I rip off just a little bit more paper off of this scrap. And it looks like we have the right width now. So we'll go ahead and put some yarn in it. And this piece of yarn is so frayed, it looks like it will be impossible to thread it through a needle. And so I just trim the end of it just slightly and then twist the end so that it will be able to fit in between the fold of the paper. And then just put the end of the yarn into the fold in between the folds of the paper. This is all very small and tiny, so it's a little hard to manipulate, but it's a lot easier than trying to thread it without the paper. And then just insert the paper through the eye of the needle and pull the yarn through. And voila, there you have it. I learned this hack from my friend Marcia, who was a master quilter and had a lot of knowledge about sewing and quilting. If you're interested in seeing the video of the scrappy quilt that I made, I'll leave the link to that in the description box. Thanks for watching and happy quilting.